Hello, good evening, and welcome to Joy News Prime live from our studio here in Kokomlemle. We're live around the world on myjoyonline.com, on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125. Now, coming up in this bulletin, the Security and Exchange Commission says it is awaiting final approval of liquidation order to clear all outstanding investment of customer of Gold Coast Fund Management amidst renewed pressure from customers.
The government gave two conditions for which the full bailout would be implemented. One, the liquidation order is being obtained by the official liquidator, and that can be granted through the courts as per the relevant law, and also the validation of claims.
After a Joy News story on the increasing rate of teenage pregnancy in the Amoako Southwest District of the Ashanti region, we return to the district to find out what has changed. Also in this bulletin, a joint technical committee made up of officials from the Ghana Boundary Commission and the Land Boundary Commission of Togo are beginning a 3-week exercise to identify and replace all damaged boundary pillars along the international boundary line between the two countries.
In a team going round these boundaries within the next 3 weeks. They should cooperate with them. They should give them the necessary support. They should give them the necessary information that they require.
Also in this bulletin, we take you to the United Kingdom for the Long and Exchange Commission says it is awaiting approval of final liquidation order to clear all outstanding investment of customers of Gold Coast Fund Management. This is in a response to renewed pressure from customers demanding immediate payment of their locked-up funds. Customers have been picketing the SEC in the past 3 days, calling on the receiver of the defunct Gold Coast Management Company to pay their locked-up funds. Receiving a petition from the group head of communications and external affairs, Dr. Godwin Ansa, says the SEC is committed to paying the customers.
Two conditions for which the full bailout would be implemented. One, the liquidation order is being obtained by the official liquidator, and that can be granted through the courts as per the relevant law, and also the validation of claims. We have actually finished with the validation of claims, and the said monies have been paid out even to Black Shield customers under the partial bailout program which the government awarded on humanitarian grounds. So far we have about 44 out of 46 liquidation orders which have been obtained. We only have 2 outstanding, and we are very committed to the process, and we are sure that these orders will be obtained so that the needful can be done. Even without the petition, it's important to know that SEC has actually been very compliant with the process. We have cooperated with the process thoroughly, fully, and wholeheartedly, and our commitment stays the same. We will address this as seriously as we have done, even without the petition being submitted. We take this seriously because core of our mandate is ensuring that what the investors' interests are well taken care of. So we'll address it. We'll continue to support the process and ensure that the needful is done, so that people can feel even more confident in the market than ever before.
But the customers say the Commission is deliberately delaying the payment process.
Bailout package is distinct from a liquidation order. A bailout package is a taxpayers' money approved by Parliament to pay us. And you can use a liquidation order route which can take about 2 decades, as suggested by Security and Exchange Commission themselves, as to be a condition to the bailout package. Therefore, with all due respect, for the sake of our people out there, we have no further strength to battle with the government. We are pleading with them in the name of God, as a listening father. Wherever the 5.5 billion approved by Parliament is, should be, as a matter of urgency, released and disbursed for the betterment of these dying customers of Gold Coast Fund Management and other fund management customers.
We have more on this particular story later on in the bulletin. But for now, after a Joy News story on the increase in teenage pregnancy rate in the Amoako Southwest District of the Ashanti region, in which we highlighted that one of the drivers was the girls' inability to buy sanitary pads, an NGO, G4G Ghana, has decided to support the district. We understand they are supplying sanitary pads to over 500 girls in selected communities in that particular district next month. Let's get more details from the District Director of Health, Dr. Rubin Bedra, who is the District Director of Health for the Amoako Southwest District. He joins us now via Zoom. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us. What are the details of this particular support? Doc, if you can hear me, kindly unmute so we can really follow what you're telling us. We want to understand details of this particular support being delivered by G4G Ghana. All right, you're still watching Joy News Prime. Would work on the line so we can get Doc, so we can have, I don't know if okay. Doc, so if you can hear me, I wanted to find out from you the sort of support, details of this particular support from G4G.
Thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. Yes, after we did the story on the increasing rate of teenage pregnancy in our district, I'm trying to underline some of the factors, including sanitary pads. Some philanthropists and some NGOs contacted us. Specifically, we are talking about G4G. So currently, G4G has actually planned to support 500 girls in some of our very deprived communities with sanitary pads. The promise is that on 10th of June, they will be supplying these sanitary pads to 500 girls in these deprived communities. And fortunately, this week we have already received about 650 packs of sanitary pads from another NGO called Women's Health to Wealth. Okay. So about 600 girls in some schools from next week will be receiving this sanitary pads, which obviously is going to improve their hygiene in terms of their menses.
And we expect this to lead to the reduction in the number of teenage girls getting pregnant. What other strategies are you adopting to ensure that together with the sanitary pads, we achieve this target of reducing the rate at which young girls are getting pregnant?
Yes, so as we enumerated in the story, the underlying causes are there. But for us in the health service, what we are doing is to intensify reproductive and sexual health information to these target groups. Currently, we are working in the senior high schools, the 2 senior high schools in the district. On monthly basis, we have some sessions for the girls to give them more education on that. This week, what we also did in one of the Galamsey communities, specifically Kunsu, is to talk about contraceptives. In fact, what we did early in the morning when the Galamseyers were ready to go to the field was to distribute condoms on the street to these Galamseyers. And they were very happy, they took it. We are planning that we will target other places like the hotels and other places and also place condoms there, whilst we also go on to do more education among the teenagers so that we can build their capacity, we can empower them to be able to take good decisions for themselves and for their lives in the future.
Okay, now we also understand that the Ahafo Southwest District, the Central Region, has been awarded as the best performing district among 43 districts for 2022. What were the considerations and what does this mean to the district?
So thank you for the opportunity again on that beat. For 2 consecutive years, 2021, 2022, Ahafo Southwest District of Ashanti Region has been awarded as the best performing district in Ashanti Region. The criteria or the model is what we called holistic assessment by Ghana Health Service, where Ghana Health Service is looking at the strategic objectives of the service. So we are looking at the health systems and everything that goes into health service delivery, including service delivery, including human resource, health financing, logistics, management, health information systems. So the system has a checklist. For this year, about 90 indicators are developed, and these 90 indicators are used to assess the performance of each district.
Okay.
So at the regional level, the best district is awarded, and at the national level, the best region is also awarded. What it means is that for now in Ashanti region, we can confidently say that Ahafo Southwest District is providing the best, the highest quality of healthcare to the people in this district.
Doc, I'm grateful for joining us tonight as well. Now, moving on to other stories now. The Global Share Alliance, with its NGO partners, have started the grafting of share seedlings to reduce its maturity period of 25 years to 3 to 5 years. Now, this forms part of the Ghana Share Landscape Emission Reductions Project, which is aimed at addressing deforestation and restoration of degraded share landscapes in the northern Savannah ecological zone. In all, 70 community-based nurseries across the 5 regions of the north have been engaged to produce different tree species and share for planting. Now, about 3.5 million share seedlings will be planted, out of which 480,000 native trees and 10,000 hectares of degraded parklands will be restored. There's more in the following report.
The 7-year project is being funded by the Green Climate Fund and implemented by the Forestry Commission. Global Share Alliance is co-implementer providing technical support. The United Nations Development Programme is the Green Climate Fund accredited agency on the project. As part of the project, over 700 women are being employed, whilst over 24,200 men and women will be trained on share parkland management. Speaking to the media at the Sahel Agricultural Nursery as part of the tour of a team from the UNDP and Global Share Alliance, Dr. Francis Chimsa said the grafting is to reduce the maturity period and increase the size of the share. He said women are being trained to take charge of the grafting.
And the essence of share grafting, as we all know, is to help reduce the long gestation period of our share tree. In natural, the share can take over 25 years to mature and start fruiting. But with the idea of grafting, we can reduce the gestation period for share to as short as 5 years and even below. In 5 years' time, you might see fruits forming, and economically, you can get some of your nuts coming up for harvesting. So the idea, because the community is the one that owns the nursery, and we are working with the women. And we started training the women on the technique of grafting. There are several techniques, but the best ideal one we've identified as the best way to use for grafting is what we call the top grafting. So we've explained to the women and started training them, and they're the ones who engage, who are going to do the grafting for about 10,000 seedlings we have so far in the nursery, and mostly selected from very mature trees, not young ones, mature trees, and the women themselves do the selection because they are aware when they go to the wild to pick nuts, they are aware of the nuts, the trees that are high yielding, and then some of the trees that are also bigger in terms of fruit size. So the women are the ones that actually pick the science and then select the places where we can get fruits.
One of the founders of Eco Restore, Dr. Zakaria Isahako, on his part said the trees being planted are native to the area and were going to be owned by the communities.
One of the things that we commit ourselves as a partnership or as a consortium was to raise different species of trees that are suitable for the ecological zone within the Northeast region. So we are in the nursery, and as you can see, we've raised different species, about 13 different species that will be planted in the communities this year. We've nursed close to almost 80,000 seedlings of share, dawa, mahogany, and several others. Like I said, 13 different species. and all of this will be planted in the communities by the community members.
One of the founding members of Global Share Alliance and CEO of Savannah and Sahel Commodities, Senyor Pelly, acknowledged the contribution of Global Share Alliance in the share industry.
In the early days, the challenge was demand. But with activities of the Global Share Alliance, Global Share Alliance have been able to promote share aggressively since its inception in 2011. And I'll say today, share is not only used for cosmetics, share is used for food. In fact, 90% of share butter is used for food. And I would say recently we have seen share in even margarine. I mean, a lot of margarine in the world use share now. A lot of companies are replacing palm with share. And so I would say at the moment, demand is not a problem, but the supply.
Team leader for environment and climate change at the UNDP in Ghana, Stephen Kansuk, said the aim is to partner other stakeholders to protect the environment.
And we are working to see how we can be able to restore the degraded forests from both the off-reserves. So in the off-reserve, we are looking at close to about 200,000 hectares of degraded forests restored over a period of 7 years. In the parklands, we know very well that in the past, we usually have our share trees and other species growing naturally in our traditional farms. But over the years, there has been threats of deforestation in those areas as a result of farming and several other activities that is actually depleting our forest. And as part of those measures, we are working with communities. And I'm here this morning at one of the communities where we are trying to raise nurseries to be able to support the afforestation drive in those areas. And we are looking at over 300,000 hectares of degraded parklands restored across the northern part of the country. And I would want to use this opportunity to commend our partners, the Forestry Commission, Eco Restore, several civil society organizations, and private sector partners that are on ground already provided support through the various chains of the share in the northern part of the country. And one of the key things that we want to know, we know that most of the time our women are those who are usually very much impacted by climate change, whether in terms of access to electricity, access to energy, access to water, access to farmlands and all that. And we are very particular and very determined to see how we can be able to support our women groups, our women in the entire value chain of the share, right? Even from the collection, from the planting, from the nurseries, from the processing, and the entire market value chain of that. And
Mr. Kansuk also visited some women groups to engage with them.
Now, a joint technical team made up of the Boundary Commission of Ghana and the Land Boundary Commission of Togo are beginning a 3-week exercise to locate and replace all damaged boundary poles along the boundary line between the two countries. Now, speaking at the joint Ghana-Togo Community Sensitization Program at Agotume Ekpatoy in the Volta region, National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, said the exercise is important to prevent any disagreement in border between the two countries. There's more in this report.
Some students of the Agotimas Yope SHS singing at the sensitization program that brought together opinion and traditional leaders, residents living along the international boundary line between Ghana and Togo, government officials, school children, and more. Speaking at the program, the national coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, urged residents to cooperate with the team for a successful exercise.
We are not going to redemarcate the boundary. The old boundary stay, but we are going to identify the boundary pillars that are destroyed, that has been tempered, that has been removed. The aim of the reaffirmation is to replace all tempered, destroyed, and removed boundary pillars. They'll be seeing a team going around these boundaries within the next 3 weeks. They should cooperate with them. They should give them the necessary support. They should give them the necessary information that they require. And that we are redefining the boundaries by reaffirming to replace boundary pillars, but that we are not redemarcating the boundary pillar. And that is a very important point.
He says the reaffirmation exercise will also help prevent disputes between the two countries.
The importance is clearly to make sure that there is no doubt so far as the international boundary line is concerned. Secondly, to ensure that the disputes don't arise out of minor disagreements on the boundary demarcations between the two countries.
Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources in charge of Lands and Forestry, Benito Owusu says most of the boundary markings that define the land boundary between Ghana and Togo, among others, have been destroyed by environmental and human factors,
such as erosion, tampering or outright removals. Effects of these have been the eruption of conflicts in many communities along the international boundary line. I want to utilize this opportunity to commend both commissions for their dedication towards ensuring the proper management and safeguarding of the Ghana-Togo land boundary. I encourage you to continue with the good work. Major General, just yesterday I received a letter from the President of the Republic of Ghana congratulating you for the good work that you are doing.
Head of the Land Boundary Commission of Togo, Dr. Laja Duti, who spoke through an interpreter, said he's excited about the 3-week exercise.
We are to do this exercise because these borders were demarcated by the colonial masters. In order to freely move without any issue, we need to really have this exercise.
Volta Regional Minister Dr. Archibald Lecha says the Ghana Boundary Commission continues to brief his office about its activities in the region. He says the Volta region is ready to support the exercise.
And I welcome all the commission members from the Ghana side and the Togo side to the Volta region, and must say that we are always briefed by Major General Kotia and his team about all the activities that they are doing in the Volta region. All the MDCs are also briefed. So we are part and parcel of what they are doing. And we promise that we'll continue to support the process.
This is watching Joy News Prime. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more stories. Stay with us. And artificial intelligence continues to make remarkable advancement. The world of music has not been left behind. AI-generated music, including synthesized voices of famous artists, has been making its way into the music industry, turning the line between human and machine creativity. There's more in this report by Michael Papani Ashali. Now, the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Interior of the Czech Republic, Felix, is leading a crack team of plastic and orthopedic surgeons to commence a week of 100 surgeries at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. The medical gesture, dubbed Medical Humanitarian Program by the government of the Czech Republic, is to improve healthcare services across the globe. Speaking at a ceremony to announce the start of the services, the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of the Interior of the Czech Republic, Felix, stated that the aim is to provide free medical care and assistance to vulnerable groups in countries affected by migration or burdened by many refugees or people whose health conditions prevented them from leading a dignified life. There is more in this report.
The medical team comprises specialists in various fields, largely infectologists, plastic and reconstructive surgeons, gynecologists and traumatologists, among others. Medivac had operated on more than 3,774 patients globally with more than 400 doctors and had carried out 287 medical humanitarian evacuation, 9 supported medical projects, 9 participating Czech hospitals, and 105 medical teams deployed in 24 countries worldwide. Introducing the 2023 team, the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Interior of the Czech Republic, Vít Rakusan, stated that the medical gesture was part of efforts by the two countries to deepen cooperation and bilateral relations for mutual gain.
Here in this mission, here and by this visit of your hospital, we have a lot of businessmen from medical equipment sphere, and they just had some talks to the director of the hospital, and I think it could bring also some results. We have in the Czech Republic also security business with long tradition, and it's something what is interesting for me as the Minister of Interior, so to speak about cybersecurity, about projects in cybersecurity, and also in the fight against terrorism, because this type of danger doesn't know any border. Now we have here the plastic surgery specialist from the Czech Republic, who also teach your doctors how to improve in some processes here, and they also invite the doctors from Ghana to the Czech Republic for scholarships. And it's something what is, from my point of view, the most important part of my trip to Ghana, to support this type of project, to support the aid on the place, and to show that the Czech Republic is here for you.
He noted that Ghana had traditionally been one of Czech Republic's important partners in West Africa ever since the diplomatic relations were established in 1957.
As I say, 20 businessmen from the Czech Republic, and they are looking for new business opportunities, they are looking for new business partners, and Ghana is a democratic country with a huge future and also with good infrastructure, so it's just the logical thing to try to find here some possibilities for investment and for the partners, for the future business. And I think we are successful also in this field. And I have also political meetings with your ministers, because also the deepness and the base of political relationship is always important for everybody.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, Dr. Eric Kofinjedu, said the facility's quest to bring joy and instill a sense of belongingness in its patients through the delivery of quality health care bet the partnership with Medivac. According to him, the collaboration, which started in 2020, had up-to-date screened 642 people with various medical conditions.
The hospital has so far received in 3 tranches an amount of $25,927 US, which is equivalent to 479,556 Ghana cedis from Medivac as a contribution toward the payment of implants, transplants, and surgeries for non-insured patients, as well as other services not covered by the National Health Insurance Scheme. Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, please help me appreciate the Medivac team and the people of the Czech Republic for believing in our vision and working with us to help humanity.
Aside the medical gesture, the Czech team indicates they would also build up a bilateral cooperation with Ghana in the field of security, as the insurgent situation in the Sahel and the Gulf of Guinea still persists. Richard Kojo, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Let's do some politics now. And the former Chief Executive Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority, Alhaji Hudu Mukhtari, and 4 other aspirants in the Wa Central National Democratic Congress parliamentary primary, has stated that there is a wind of change currently blowing in the constituency, and that the delegates have resolved to give him an overwhelming mandate during the parliamentary primaries. Now, he said, based on the massive turnout coupled with the strategies put in place, he will no doubt unseat incumbent Member of Parliament, Dr. Rashid Hassan Pelpo, who has held the seat for close to 20 years. Hudu Mukhtari made a statement when he debated a pickup to the Wa Central constituency of the NDC to aid in their work, when he donated a pickup to aid in their work. Now, joining his Upper West Regional correspondent, Rafiq Salam, reports from Wa.
According to the former Chief Executive Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority, Alhaji Hudu Mukhtari, his donation of the HHHNS pickup with registration number GR 1211-23 is not intended to woo global voters to his fold, but a fulfillment of a request made by the party's constituency executives.
The constituency is disabled because they have no vehicle to move around. They have constituents they need to visit, they need to send them messages, and they have no means of doing that. The chairman has a very rickety vehicle that breaks down almost every other day. And so I thought that it was important. And what I want people to understand is that I have done this knowing that it is possible to lose the elections, the primaries. So it does not matter whether I lose the elections or win. It is for the party and for the growth of the constituency, Wa Central constituency.
For Alhaji Hudu Mukhtari, a wind of change is currently blowing in the Wa Central constituency. It is to hope that come 13th May, he will be the victor.
I am winning. Marvelous turnout at our events, marvelous response. It's massive. This is not my first time. This is my third time contesting, and I have never seen the sort of response that I'm seeing now. It appears everywhere we go. There's this wind of change that is blowing, and the response that they think that I'm the best person to deliver the constituency and to bring the growth that the constituency needs. And so that makes me happy, fulfilled in pursuing this course to make sure that we win the primaries.
Now, let's take you to the Ashanti region where the Asawase Member of Parliament, Muntaka Mubarak, will have to jump the first hurdle to maintain the seat for the 6th term. Perhaps this will be the toughest bid in the past decade as the MP was unopposed for 2 terms. A branch executive, Musaudu Mubarak, is gaining popularity among the youth with his Mass for the Masses campaign, a message which emphasizes on human development. Daniel Jima has been crisscrossing the constituency dominated by NDC and has come through with this report.
The front of the NDC in Asawase constituency is divided among 2 factions, with constituency chairman Faisal Dauda leading one front and MP Muntaka Mubarak heading the other.
Muntaka yana dwuni se obese constituency ni me pese obi ahun se me mreso constituency ense efriwa ehuwa e kana ohun se sene yeye no woko onoposu no sa hu no wonko contest.
Well, it's very hurting when you hear people concocting lies. I mean, people showing you so much hatred, people showing you, and you wonder why they do that.
Masaud made a name for himself in 2018 when he filed nomination to contest the primary but was disqualified at vetting.
If you look at the previous attempt that I made, it was bedeviled with things that were not pleasant. But Alhamdulillah, today I've had a smooth vetting process.
Under a campaign dubbed Mass for the Masses, the branch executive for the NDC is prioritizing human development when he wins the seat.
Over the 18-year period of the incumbent MP, we haven't had much in terms of human development or progress. So inshallah, when they say change, they mean progress for the people of the constituency.
The incumbent MP, Muntaka Mubarak, is in the race to secure a 6th term, and winning the upcoming primary will make the task easier.
You don't get people to continue supporting you after 2 decades of being a member of parliament. For you to get people to continue supporting you for 2 decades, it means there's something you are doing right. And for me, I only thank Allah for all what He has done for me. And by this support, I know by the grace of God, Allah is not done with me.
Many young people who were once loyal to the MP have switched camps.
Let's take you to the central region, where the campaigns ahead of the upcoming NDC parliamentary primaries in the Abra Asebu Kwamankese constituency are heating up. As a professor of physics at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Nana Ama Brown Kluche takes on spokesperson for former President John Dramani Mahama, Felix Kwachi Ofosu. It's a contest many have described as too close to call. In their last contest in 2019, Felix Ofosu Kwachi beat the professor in the primaries but lost by 176 votes to the MPP candidate in the national elections. While Felix believes there's no need to change a candidate that almost won the national elections, Professor Nana Ama Brown Kluche is of the belief that she's lived in the constituency all her life and knows their needs better than his contender. Richard Kojo has been keeping an eye on the development in the constituency and has come through this report.
The Abra Asebu Kwamankese constituency has fallen to the National Democratic Congress more than it has to the New Patriotic Party. Since 1992, the NDC has grabbed 5 out of the 8 contests that have been done. But the presence of the spokesperson for former President John Dramani Mahama has attracted huge interest.
I made the first attempt and I came quite close. I lost by measly 176 votes, which is mighty close. So if a candidate comes that close in an election, it only makes sense that you repeat that candidate.
Felix Kwachi Ofosu speaks of why he is the best bet for the constituents.
Because there's no point going to reinvent the wheel and starting from scratch. The amount of resources and effort that go into marketing a candidate from scratch is enormous. So we have done a chunk of the work in 2020, and therefore there's no need to burden ourselves with even more work. We just need to do a little more to improve upon the fortunes that we took in 2024. And I am confident that this second attempt will offer a unique opportunity to the constituents and inhabitants of the Abra Asebu Kwamankese constituency to give me an opportunity to offer effective and efficient leadership and representation in Parliament, so that the most pressing concerns of this deprived constituency are brought to the front burner, so that immediate and urgent attention is paid, so that there will be an improvement in the developmental status of this constituency and the general well-being of the people of this constituency.
In 2019, he burst onto the scene and beat Professor Nana Ama Brown Kluche in a fiercely contested battle. Felix is coming up against a professor of physics, a huge towering figure in academia, and a grassroots person.
I have contested him before, but the dynamics this year tilts in my favor. I know I'll win by a huge margin.
Professor Nana Ama Brown Kluche lost narrowly in the primaries in 2019 to Felix Kwachi Ofosu. She says she's lived in the constituency, knows the needs of the constituents better than the contender, and can better represent the people.
Delegates na ha obi a primaries na
the gathering in my house shows the kind of love the delegates have for me. Everyone here has a vote in the primaries. Once they have come here, I know they love me and they'll vote for Professor Nana Ama Brown Kluche. I know they have the belief and the confidence in me that should they vote for me, I'll cause the needed change in this constituency.
Those who are watching Join this program, we'll take a break. We'll be back with Showbiz. Stay with us. Well, it's Friday. Yesterday there were some That's a question I couldn't answer. Well, let's see how it's going to be today.
You can redeem yourself. You can redeem yourself today.
There's no redeeming.
But you know that tomorrow a lot of things. Well, just two big things are happening tomorrow. Tomorrow, in the UK.
Are you going to ask me that question? That's what that. Ask me that question to redeem myself.
No, I'm not going to ask you any question. Let's talk about the coronation of King Charles III. So our colleague actually, Aisha Ibrahim, had a conversation with the British High Commissioner, Harriet Thompson, and she revealed that one choir from Ghana will be performing tomorrow. Is VGMA.
When you mentioned it, there's a word that came to mind.
Please don't. So,
but you know what's mentioned on that platform.
We don't have to go there. Right, Nana.
Yeah.
He's a very nice guy. But the question on everybody's lips is, who wins the Artist of the Year?
You asked me for my opinion.
Wait, you get your turn, but. First of all, I'll take you through the list of people who are in that category. First of all, let's go to the most talked about person this year, PSC Esther win. But could it be Kiddy? Promise, please.
Well,
let's check see. Nation President Stoneboy. Grace, do you know that Joe Metal is in this category?
I'm aware. Yes.
Joe Metal with Kadosh. All right, Sarkodie, go ahead. Say something. Oh, the big Camido.